Good news, everyone!
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I see dead people.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
And knowing is half the battle.
What, the deuce?
Must have the precious.
And I'll form the head.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take it away!
What you talking about, Willie?
Wow, infotainment.
Welcome to this Transmissions Extra. This is going to be all about C2E2 and my trip there. You will find many interviews in this and a lot of pictures and cosplay and lots of fun stuff. I'd like to thank everyone that agreed to be interviewed, particularly the Comicbooks For Kids people who graciously agreed to a second interview after I discovered my audio for the first interview was horrible. So thanks a lot, and I hope you check out their exclusive comic. I'm here at C2E2 with Mark Weiss and his daughter Michelle. They're from Comic Book For Kids, and they put comic books in the hands of kids in hospitals to kind of brighten their day. So thanks for talking with me.
Thank you guys for letting us say hello to all of you. And I know you're going to hear me say this many times. I just want to start before Jeremy even says anything. You have all embraced us with your support of what we're doing here. So on behalf of Michelle, on behalf of myself, and on behalf of Comic Book For Kids, first thing I wanted to say, and I told Jeremy I was going to do this, is thank you to you guys for helping us, help the kids.
All right, well, thanks for talking with us and letting us spread the word about this. Y'all got a custom variant cover of the new Transformers book, and it's absolutely fantastic. So can you tell us a little bit about how this came together?
Yeah, absolutely. So the concept that we always have in Comic Book For Kids, understanding our mission, which is to provide comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers, is to make a difference for the kids. And it's not always, it's always challenging. And we realize that when a child is in a hospital, we can't impact the physical, but we can help alleviate stress and anxiety and address the emotional. So all of our covers have the same concept of a child in a bed, and the child is happy because a comic book and toys or comic-related characters or pop culture characters are surrounding the child and bringing a little bit of light into that room. So the child doesn't care, well, he cares, but it's not about him being in the hospital room anymore. It's now around him being surrounded by the toys.
He's kind of taken away into another world.
Absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. And so this cover was something that I had to sell to IDW and Hasbro, and IDW came to me and said, what do you think about a Transformer cover? And I said, as soon as I heard that, I said, here's the cover. Little boy's on the bed. He's looking to the window. His mouth is wide open. We've got Kremzik on the monitor smiling. And Optimus Prime is there, and the boy is, of course, had been playing with his Transformer toys, and of course you notice some of the original Transformer covers on there, right?
Yeah.
And you see Optimus smiling, and it's just you can't help it. Tim Lim is an artist in San Antonio. I think he knocked it out of the park with this, and the color palette is incredible on this. The original concept art, which I know you have, had a few different things which we tweaked. Kremzik was a little scary, but I think the finished product is incredible.
Yeah, it's great, and I think a lot of our audience really appreciates the fact that it's some of the original G1 toys.
Yeah, absolutely. So we made sure to get some of the original covers on there. Again, you know, you do this not only because you love Transformers, not only because you want to help kids, but you have a passion for comics and the comic book industry. So this was just a wonderful, if you forgive the expression, perfect storm of things coming together.
Right, and then you also recently, at the Comic Pro event, you gave IDW an award for all their work.
Absolutely. So IDW has been incredibly gracious to us. And 3 weeks now, we were at the Comics Pro event, and we had the honor and privilege of presenting to IDW the Comic Book for Kids Publisher of the Year Award for helping the kids across the country with, in hospitals and cancer centers. And much of this also was, again, for their support not only of this book, but they also contribute a significant amount of comic books to us that we can give to the kids. So IDW, I can't say enough great stuff about IDW. They've been very supportive of our mission and continue to be so.
That's awesome. So how can people get this after C2E2 is over?
So I'm going to let Michelle talk because she does more than just hold comic books. So.
It's available on eBay, right?
And it is, and they can also reach us.
So yeah, feel free. I mean, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can follow us, like us there. Feel free to message us. I mean, pretty responsive. But the comic book will be available on eBay.
And there's also right now we have, I think, 4 or 5 retailers worldwide that have these. So we want to make sure to let the retailers. We also have a very small allocation because there are those people who have said they want to buy it directly from us. The retailers are working with us too. Again, there's only a handful, but this is important. The 5 retailers that are working with us are those who have supported us since day one. So that's why there are 5 retailers. So any of your audience who is watching this, I'm completely really good with you working with any of those retailers as well.
That's awesome. And all that's on your website too?
Absolutely.
All right. I guess, is there anything else you guys wanted to talk, like, do you do any events with the hospitals or? We do. I know a lot of you who are watching this know cosplayers, or some of you may work with the cosplay groups. So we know that it's not just about giving comic books to the kids. Sometimes it's about superheroes or characters or Elsa or whomever presenting comic books to moms, to the kids. So we work with cosplayers. We will help coordinate events at hospitals. If you have excess comic books or you want to do something in your local hospital, contact us. We're a non-for-profit. We take no compensation for what we do. We completely volunteer our time. We're glad to work with you to help make a difference for the kids. That's awesome. So I guess thanks for talking with me, and hope this goes well.
Jeremy, one last thing. I said at the beginning, I'm going to close the same way I started. Thank you guys for supporting us, for helping make a difference for the kids, and I hope in some way, when you saw this cover, it made you smile the same way it made us smile.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
At C2E2 with artist Tim Seeley. He's done many things: Hack Slash, Green Lanterns, Masters of the Universe or Injustice versus Masters of the Universe. And some Transformers. Yeah, and for our audience, you work for Devil's Due for the G.I. Joe versus Transformers.
Yeah.
So how's your convention going?
It's crazy as busy, and I'm barely keeping up, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to plow through, and I'm going to take a nice Monday vacation. That's the plan.
That's cool. Well, it's a good problem to have, to be busy.
Yeah. You never know. You can go away anytime. So.
Yeah. So what can you say about your time with Devil's Due, with the Transformers, the G.I. Joe Transformers stuff? Like, that's kind of a small period in the Transformer comics world.
Well, so the time that we had it, Dreamwave had the Transformers license, and we were both kind of small studios, and we knew each other. So we traded, basically. They gave us the rights to do a Transformers crossover for like three 6-issue series, I think, and we traded them. But the first one Josh did with Mike Miller, and then the second I drew with Dan Jolly and PJ Sue, and then the third one and the fourth one I got to write. I didn't draw them because I was kind of angling to write more stuff after Hack Slash. But I had always been kind of a Transformers guy. As a kid, I was huge into the Marvel comic, the Marvel Transformers. and the toys and stuff. So I kind of felt like I probably wouldn't be great for G.I. Joe by itself, but I figured I could do Transformers. So my pitch on it was we're going to do all the weird stuff from the cartoons that the G.I. Joe the comics couldn't do. We do it here because we're mixing with Transformers. So it was going to be Cobra Law, and we did like a Transformer Serpentor, basically. That was it was like the son of Megatron.
Was that the Serpentor?
Serpento, exactly, organic robot or whatever it was. Yeah. Which is just like having a delightful fun. It was fun. It was so much fun.
Cool. Well, have you ever pitched anything to IDW that currently has a license for both?
I did actually. I did a couple covers, and then while I was pitching the covers, I had an idea for an RC story. That was kind of like when they first started their new universe. I had an idea that she would be basically she appeared human female because they determined that the robots determined she'd be the best spokesperson. That like they watched a bunch of TV and they figured like they used this female form to like get their message across. So they turned her female, but then she had to deal with sexism. Like it was gonna be like this immediate thing. Hey, what's up, buddy? But it was gonna be this idea of like make it like playing into the fact that it was unusual that they're females, but they wanted a different version. So
yeah, that might have been a little bit better than what Simon Furman did, but
did they make her mentally ill or something?
Essentially, she was forced to be female, against her will. There was no sex in gender in Transformers at the time. It was completely retconned, and now they've rebooted everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, the timing on that, with the transgender thing and all that sort of stuff, like, oh
yeah,
that's yeah. Well, they could have gone with an easier version. I could have given. I was gonna have it be kind of like, play up the fact that like the way that we treat women, like we want you to say what we want you to say, but stop right there, like don't say too much. So I thought that'd be cool. We were gonna have a woman artist do it and stuff, but I don't remember why it didn't happen. I guess they had something slightly more insulting to go. I don't know.
Well, can you talk about like what you've been doing lately? You have the hack slash that you did for Image, and now you're doing stuff with DC. You've done Nightwing. You've done the Green Lantern series, which was excellent.
Thank you. I'm freelance, so I do as much as I can, basically, and as much as I have ideas for it. It's kind of my way of taking something. If I have an idea for something, or have a passion for it, then I'll pursue it. But yeah, and since I kind of switched back drawing and writing, I can, I guess I can have a longer. I kind of have a more diverse career. I guess I have more content because I can do either job. Yeah. So all of them are near and dear to my heart for whatever reason,
Yeah. So one thing with the Green Lanterns I wanted to bring up is, like you mentioned with the RC thing, with Green Lanterns you had Jessica Cruz, who was, first female human, like Earth-based Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And then you also had Simon Baz, who, was identified as a Muslim.
It's $10.
Can you talk about like dealing with both of those audiences, on this book?
So when we were just talking about doing the book, I was talking to Sam Humphries about it, and we kind of decided like this was the progressive Green Lantern book, and it was about it was more like kind of a Spider-Man style take on a DC character, in which they had this great responsibility, but they had all these other responsibilities in the rest of their life. So thank you so much. That they, like Hal is just a cool guy, and Hal doesn't have a
he does whatever he wants.
And these people had like day jobs.
Yeah.
And they had problems keeping day jobs, and like all the things that once they left the Earth, they were like respected cops. They would come home, and Simon would get arrested because he looked dangerous at the airport or whatever. So I thought that was the most interesting thing to me. I don't have a lot of interest in the other aspects of Green Lantern Corps, but that part really got me. So that's kind of what I want to do with it. And I have generalized anxiety disorder, so Jessica was the character that made the most sense to me. And I kind of thought Simon as a guy would be like the guy who looks like he should be such a winner, because he's like jock and he's cool and he's like, but he keeps having shit blow up in his face, you know? I thought, like that, those two aspects like really interested me. So that's kind of why I try to approach it. I feel like in the end I learned that most Green Lantern fans don't care about that shit at all. So that was an education, but most people like the cop stuff, which I want to play more like The Wire in space. Like I want to be like the bureaucracy and bullshit. And especially, you know, like I do just like some X-Men stuff, so crazy space laws and stuff like that. Like I want to make it, you know, like them dealing with all the law enforcement stuff that, you know, that was implied in some of the original stuff, but not usually played through.
Awesome. Well, personally, I really enjoyed the run.
Thanks, man.
So, well, thanks for taking some time with me. I will link to you on Twitter when we post this. So,
sounds good. Thank you.
Have a good I'm here at C2E2 with Ninib from Learning Resources. They have a product, Beaker Creatures, and he's going to tell me a little bit about it. So
yeah. So Beaker Creatures is a science meets collectibles line. We know kids love collectibles, so we want you to introduce education and science into that. So you get these cool reactor pods, and you can put them into these lab sets. So this one behind us is a bigger version of what you get, but you get to put the pods in, they fizz, they bubble, and kids get to extract these cool characters where you get to identify what planet they're from.
Awesome. So the Beaker Creatures here, so I mean, it just, the whole point is to engage kids in science at an early age. I mean, what age group is this for?
Yeah, so in general, our company, Learning Resources, is huge on STEM. Like we think young STEM is very important. With Beaker Creatures, it's for ages 5+. Usually kids 5 to 8 love to enjoy this, do crazy experiments. Even with the lab set, you could do slime. You could even make your own pod with some of our lab sets.
Awesome. And what are some of the other things that you guys have? I know it's just all Beaker Creatures here. But I saw in the video you have here like some slime stuff.
So we have like the Super Lab set. Let me grab. So this is a liquid reactor Super Lab. This is one where you can extract the characters from when you dissolve the pods. But we also have the Alien Experiment Lab that's coming out in June, and that one you can create your own pod. So even after you dissolve the pods, you can pretty much like make your own pods based on home ingredients like cornstarch and simple ingredients, really.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for talking to me.
Yeah.
And where can they go to buy it? Is it in stores or online?
Yeah, you can go to beakercreatures.com to learn more and order from our website, but we're available on Amazon. We're at Target as well.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I'm here at C2E2, and this is James with Imaginarium Omaha. And this is an interesting take on the whole loot box phenomenon. So what can you tell us about it?
So we're a little bit different. We're an organic based kind of mystery box where we're a little more vintage. A lot of our stuff is recycled, kind of fun. We have 3 different levels: $5, $10, and $20. Our boxes, will have everything from a brand new in-package figure to something vintage all the way back from 40 years ago. We feature Transformers, Star Wars, He-Man, all the classics from growing up in your childhood. They're really popular. They come in these cool little Chinese food boxes, so they got their own little handle.
I think that's a nice little touch there.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's their own little carrying case. Most people have never seen anything like this. We do it a little different. I'm not a big corporate person, so we try to do a very organic feel. Most of ours are handwritten. People like that. We fill them in the store with all the different unique and random things that we get, and it's just kind of fun. It's just they're little boxes, little buckets of fun is basically what they are.
Awesome. And you said you have a storefront in Omaha?
Yeah, we're based in Omaha, Nebraska. We're in the Old Market. If you've ever been there, it's a really cool area. One of the few places in the area that's not underwater right now. But yeah. And then we sell on eBay as well, and then we have our imaginariumantiques.com.
Awesome. And what's the eBay store?
It's Imaginarium. I think it's called Imaginarium Superstore, if I remember right.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure it's linked off the website too. So.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Here at C2E2 with Brandon from Han Cholo, and we're going to talk a little bit about what he has with the Transformers, but also in general. I'd just like to know, you guys have been doing this for a long time with various pop culture franchises. Can you just go into a little bit of the background of the company?
Yeah, we started in 2002. I've always been a fan of old pop culture and things that relate to like 80s, 70s and 80s, 90s culture. So it's a big part of my jewelry design as well. And I just started doing, things I love and making entities with my licenses. Like, as a fan, I collect, and, I just want to put out there for other people that are fans as well.
Awesome. So, yeah, I know you have, like, Master of the Universe. I think I first became aware of you with the Voltron stuff you did a few years ago with the new series.
Yeah.
But, like, I've noticed you have both eras. You have the original Voltron and the new stuff.
For sure.
And y'all have been coming in with the Transformers. So, do you make the jewelry all yourself?
Yeah, everything. Design, I do everything, everything in-house, prototyping from paper, pen to what you see and what you get.
That's great. So, into the Transformers stuff. I saw most of your stuff, or everything I've seen, has been the classic G1 designs.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans for going into some of the other eras?
We may be going into some new eras, but like I'm a Gen 1 guy, and I grew up with the classics, so that's kind of my love, and I know a lot of people are the same way. It's just one of the classic things that you identify with.
Right, yeah, and I guess even Hasbro is constantly reissuing.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
those are the ones, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so can you, the thing that y'all have debuted, I believe at Emerald City Comic Con, and then you have here, is that Ravage pin. Yeah. It's Ravage in cassette mode.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite toys too, growing up. Of course, Soundwave is one of my, is my favorite, but Ravage, when that came out, I remember getting it at Toys R Us and getting that cassette. And I was just blown away. I mean, it was the coolest thing ever. And just since we came out with the Soundwave cassette player as our first pin with Soundwave, it made sense to do the cassette as well for our first pin of Ravage. And we got more to come too.
Awesome. So you're going to do some more tapes, possibly?
Possibly.
I do notice there's a large Decepticon vent to a lot of your things. You have a lot of Megatron, you have the Soundwave.
Yeah.
You do have a Grimlock and an Optimus and a Bumblebee, but
we have some more coming out too. We're giving some of the Autobots love too. But I was always, just a Decepticon fan.
That's awesome. So, what can you go into about the process of creating like the Ravage tape? Obviously it has to go through approvals.
Yes,
what has that process been like for you?
It's been a pretty easy for us. I mean, like I said, I'm a fan and I pay attention to detail and I know what other fans want, and I make sure it's pretty close to the original of the toy, and that's up.
And Hasbro's been good about.
Oh yeah, great. They're amazing to work with.
Awesome. So I guess hancholo.com is the website.
Yep.
Is it same on all social media? Just Hancholo.
Yeah, it's Hancholo Designs on Instagram, and our website's www.hancholo.com.
Cool. And how much does a Ravage pin cost?
The Ravage pin is $12.
Awesome. And so out of everything that you've designed and released, what do you think would be your favorite?
I mean, there's so many. I mean, I every one of my pieces is my favorite.
They're all your babies.
But yeah, I mean, the Megatron ring when I made it, that was like my one, because I mean, I was with the red stones in the eyes. I tried to keep him as close as possible as Gen 1 could, and I think that one and the Optimus ring are my favorites right now.
Those really do get the animation look. I really like it.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for talking with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm here at C2E2 with Chris from Deeply Dapper, and he makes soaps, among other things.
I do a little bit of everything. We do soap, we do artwork, I've got a couple of books, enamel pins, we do podcasts, and
awesome.
We got a game on Kickstarter right now, actually. It's a card game called Creature Features.
Awesome. So tell me about the soap. Like, you make it all yourself?
I do, yeah. I create all the fragrances. We make the soap. There are all sorts of different scents. We have some fun ones, like Charisma 18 has dice embedded inside it. And
that's sweet.
Super nerdy.
The names are amazing with this.
Thank you.
Like, you have The Cake is a Lie from Portal, Clean Me Up Scotty, Star Trek.
We have Make It Soap. I'm out of that one right now.
Yeah, but what's amazing is I smelled some of them, and just the smells are on point. Like the Nuka-Cola smells like a real Coke.
Thank you.
And so, how do you do that?
We've been making soap for about 7 years now, and most of it is just a lot of work. We custom blend all of our fragrances, so we order from like 9 different companies and mix them to make the scents for ourselves. So it's a lot of trial and error.
I imagine a lot of like, oh no.
Oh yeah. The bad batches, for a while I used them as like my hotel soaps until I just couldn't anymore because they were just not good. So.
Awesome. Well, tell me about the Kickstarter.
We've got a game out called Creature Features, and it's a card game where you're building monsters from body parts. So there's like the mummy, and there's aliens and robots, and it's live on Kickstarter right now for another 2 weeks. And it comes in an old school VHS case. So I'm a old-fashioned horror guy. So.
Well, that's really cool. So we'll plug all that, and. If people want to find you, that's just deeplydapper.com?
Yeah, deeplydapper.com. That's my username on everything, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And awesome. Pretty easy to find me.
Cool. Well, thanks for talking with me.
Thank you.
Here with Scott Smith. You can see some of his art behind us, and I just wanted to talk to him a minute about his art and what he does here with it. So can you kind of describe what you're doing here? It's like you got phrases and things from a property.
I call myself the word art guy, so every one of my pieces, for example, this is House Stark. The image is rendered with text, and the text that I used in this particular piece is the names of the members of House Stark, their house words, the name of their ancestral home, Winterfell, and then quotes from the members or the allies of that household. So I have pieces like that are quotes. I have some pieces that are an entire film or a whole poem or a chapter of a book. So it's different amounts of text, but it's all coming back from the subject material.
That's awesome. And what made you think of doing art like this, where, instead of your traditional stuff. This is very unique.
Thanks. Yeah, that's my hope, to bring something a little bit different. I've always loved stories. Driving home from the movie and like quoting all of your favorite parts back and forth, I think is one of those really memorable parts of going to the movies. So I guess it was with that in mind that I started on my earliest work, and it was much simpler. It didn't make an image, it was just quotes, just kind of laid out in a pattern. And from there, it's just been, I guess, 8 years now of challenging myself with each new piece. Can I make it do an image? What if I had more color? Can I do people? Can I fill a whole page with text? And that's brought me to where I am now.
Awesome. Yeah, I see you have like a more simple one, like a Stan Lee one. That's not too many words, but I mean, nice image. And then you have some of these more detailed ones, like the ones behind here, like that BB-8. I can just imagine how many words are actually in there.
Yeah, so the BB-8 piece is the opening crawl and every spoken word from The Force Awakens. So you're right, I have some really smaller, simpler pieces like the Stan Lee and some more intricate, and I'm always stretching to find new ways to integrate the written word with art.
Awesome. Well, thank you for talking with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm here at C2E2 with Dan Khanna. He has done work on many of the comics going back. I believe you worked at Dreamwave or early IDW stuff.
I did a teeny bit of work for Dreamwave. I mostly did work for Botcon, Fun Pub, 3H, Hasbro, other licensees.
Awesome.
A bunch of stuff, really.
Awesome. And one thing that he also has done is work on the Transformers trading card game. Yeah. So he is here at the show selling some of the cards and signing them. So how did you get involved with designing some of these cards?
Well, the cards reused a lot of artwork from the Transformers Legends game, and I drew a couple of hundred cards for that.
Just a couple hundred?
Just a couple hundred. And so some of my work was used on that. I was one of the regular guys who worked on the Legends game from 2015, from 2012 to 2015.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we've seen some other work, like Guido Guidi did some.
Yes, Guido, Marcelo, a couple of other guys too.
Right. So they just reused existing art, or did you do any original art for the game?
Well, I'm doing, Marcelo and myself are doing new artwork for the game. I have original art for the Wave 2 starter pack that's coming out May 3rd.
Is that the Bumblebee Megatron, I think?
Yeah, I did the art for that.
So some of your other stuff you have here, I see like you have X-Men, Voltron. You doing any of the work for the Big 2?
No, I'm afraid not. There's just prints I did for the shows, actually.
Okay.
It helps to diversify when you're at a big Comic-Con.
Right, yeah. So how's your C2E2 going?
I can't complain. It's good. It's a solid show.
Awesome. And do you know if you're going to be at any other conventions coming up, like any TF cons or?
I'm going to be at big Comic Cons for the most part, and unfortunately, nothing booked yet for any TF cons anytime soon. But I'll be at Comicpalooza in Houston in May, MegaCon in Orlando in May, Denver Comic-Con, Heroes Con, various other shows, basically.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for talking with me.
You're welcome.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.